This is Healthcare's Missing Logic podcast, episode number 123. Today we have a discussion about what it really means when people say, I don't have time for me. And we're going to talk about what they're really saying, so don't miss it. Welcome back to Healthcare's Missing Logic podcast. This is the only podcast that shows you how to leverage polarity intelligence, an essential competency for healthcare leaders, and the missing logic in healthcare, so you can create healthy, healing organizations and become a thriving, resilient, and unstoppable healthcare leader.
We are your hosts, Tracy Christofferson and Michelle Trosett. We've been best friends and colleagues for over 30 years. And during that time, we coached healthcare leaders across North America around how to create healthy, healing organizations.
Today, we coach healthcare leaders and leadership teams to live thriving, resilient, and balanced lives, combat burnout, and create the best places to give and receive care.
This podcast is for the unsung hero of healthcare, the healthcare leader. We want you to know we see you and we'll be here for you each week. In this podcast, we're going to challenge healthcare's industry norms, flip limiting beliefs, and share proven strategies so you can be your best self at work and at home, live and lead intentionally, and experience well-being and joy.
We are glad you are here and look forward to sharing the journey with you. If you aren't totally convinced this podcast is for you, just listen to a few episodes and convince yourself.
Hey folks, we're rolling. This is Healthcare's Missing Logic podcast, and I'm Tracy.
And I'm Michelle. Welcome back.
Welcome back. Woo. What a great day.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a great day.
It is. We're here.
We're breathing. Always say, if you get up, you're breathing, you're moving, it's a good day.
It's a good day.
If you wake up, that's a really good day.
Better than the alternative. You hear that too.
It is. It is. And
Yeah.
sometimes, right, it's just all about how you see things.
That's right.
It's all about how you look at it, right? I try to get out of bed every morning, put my feet on the floor, and tell myself what an awesome day it's going to be. Today's proving to be one of those.
Absolutely.
It is. And today, we're going to talk about something that we were just saying we talk about all the time when you get older. And it's time.
Yes.
Right? Time. We're always saying, where'd the week go? Where'd the weekend go?
Where'd the day go?
Is it 5 o'clock already?
Now, if my husband was here, Tracy, your other husband, he would
Yes.
break out into the Chicago song. Does anyone really know what time it is?
Does anybody really
We care.
care? Well, we care.
It's 100% predictable. If we talk about time, he sings that
He's
song.
going to sing that song. We should have had him come down and sing that song for you.
He would have done it.
Yeah. Well, the biggest mistake that healthcare leaders are making today is thinking that they don't have enough time to take care of themselves. Not enough time for me.
Mm-hmm.
Time for everybody else, but not enough time for me,
me.
right? And we get it, right? We know. These are tough times, right?
Mhm.
There's a lot going on. Staff really needs you. Your teams need you. Organization needs you. And there's a lot that you're trying to, to manage. And, what we want to do is share with you kind of a strategy for flipping that belief to, right? I've got all the time I need.
Yes. I have lots of time.
I have all kinds of time for me.
Yeah. So if you're doing one of these three things, then we know that you're making this mistake of believing you don't have enough time. Your needs are not a priority.
Yep, that's a sure sign.
That's a sure sign.
That's a sure sign.
You believe sacrificing is what you do as a leader. That's just, it comes with the territory. I'm a leader, so I have to sacrifice my time.
Every leader sacrifices.
Mm-hmm. And you are trying to meet everyone's needs. Everyone's needs. And do you find yourself saying, I just don't have enough time in the day?
Or how often do you say that? Like every day? I don't have enough time. There's just not enough time in the day. Where'd the day go?
And if you're like most healthcare leaders that we know, we know you're pushed to the limit. You're dealing with staff shortages. You're dealing with more changes related to the pandemic.
Yeah.
There's just really a lot going on and a lot of competing priorities.
Yeah. But at the same time, this is a really important question and conversation to be having, because what you believe about time and having enough of it or not having enough of it really impacts your behavior. It impacts your emotions. It's impacting how you're prioritizing yourself.
Right.
And your self-care, right? Or your needs. So, let us ask you, do thriving and resilient healthcare leaders believe they don't have enough time to prioritize their needs and care for themselves? Well, no, they don't.
No, they don't.
Right? They don't believe that. They believe that they are a priority in their lives. Their well-being is a priority, and they identify the time they can use to take care of themselves and to prioritize their health.
Yeah. And the challenge is if you hold on to the belief that you don't have enough time, then you're operating from circumstance.
Oh, yeah.
And time is a circumstance.
It is. It's a condition, and it's external to you.
Yeah.
So what's important is when you start to operate from circumstance, you slip into a victim orientation because your attention is on what's happening to you externally, around you, right? You're looking at it as a problem. You're looking at it, from that lens of what's not happening or what you don't have, right? Which is really, impacting then your emotions, makes you anxious, right? Like, oh, there's just not enough time. I'm not getting this done. There's no way I can do that, right? Like it just starts to mount up and get worse and worse. And you start to blame the situation, blame people, right? They're kind of your persecutors. And it's just it's like swirling right down, folks, right? And it's just what needs to happen is this is an internal game. This is internal state that you need to focus on. Not the external, what's happening. Remember, I think we've said before, everything's mental. So it happens here before it happens here. So it happened in your mind first, right? And so really what you want is to focus internally. What are these beliefs that are getting in my way? How can I change those beliefs up?
Exactly.
So that I can behave differently and then I can create differently, right? So what a thriving, resilient leader does is they create the opportunity to take time for themselves, right? They identify, here's the time I can use, and here I choose to use it this way to keep that internal state calm, right? And prepared and ready to handle whatever else is coming.
And they take responsibility for that to happen.
Yes,
right? They own it.
They own it.
This is my responsibility to do this for myself.
Yeah.
And there's different ways that you can take responsibility. And one is just a pause. It's just a pause long enough to figure out what matters most to you, professionally, personally, and just take the time to do that. And then evaluating what is working for you and what's not working for you. So you might have to change some things up, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And get honest about how you really feel about, taking time for yourself. And what are your priorities today in prioritizing yourself? Say that again 3 times fast. What are your priorities? What are you prioritizing today in prioritizing yourself?
That's right. Yeah.
And then number 3, identify key action steps for you. What can you put in motion? So again, first, what are you thinking about it? What's a priority? And then what action steps can you put in place for yourself? And then it's important to identify just those early warning signs when you are not prioritizing yourself. What starts to show up?
Yeah.
What are the things that are not positive that are showing up because of that? All right, we are about halfway through this episode of Healthcare's Missing Logic podcast. And we want to take a moment to share that we are very excited about a new program we've released. Let's face it, you and your teams have been through some incredibly stressful times, and it's challenging to know how to support the team and still take care of yourself in the process. We help healthcare leaders become thriving, resilient, and unstoppable leaders. We've recently created a new self-study program titled Caring for Others Without Neglecting You. In this self-study, you will begin to develop polarity intelligence to leverage the tension in your life and create your own personalized strategy for balancing caring for your team and you. Go over to missinglogic.com/new-events to learn more and enroll today.
And you know what? It really helps to have a tool.
Yes.
We're all about a strategy, right? The first thing is kind of doing these pauses, really thinking about what's important, knowing what you need, but then having some kind of blueprint, that can really guide you on that path. And that really, we've done that. We've developed a blueprint for caring for yourself caring for others without neglecting you. Okay, this is blooper day. And anyway, so it's a blueprint, right?
That's right. And Tracy, it makes me think about, it's like a recipe. A blueprint's like a recipe. It gives you something to follow. It gives you guidance. And do you remember how you made me that amazing birthday cake, the German chocolate cake that was your grandmother's recipe?
Oh, yeah. That's a from scratch cake, folks.
From scratch.
It's not a box.
No, from scratch.
From scratch.
Now, can you imagine making me that wonderful German chocolate cake without a recipe to follow?
No. Well, the outcome sure wouldn't be the same. And, the other secret is the pans.
The pans.
So my grandma always said, you got the recipe, but you got to have the pans. And I have her pans that she cooked, and I don't bake anything else in those pans.
Wow.
Nothing goes in. My husband tried to put cinnamon rolls in those pans one time. About lost his life. Those pans are for German chocolate cake and German chocolate cake only. And to my point is, it's about the tool, right?
It is about the tool.
You have to have the recipe, but it all comes together in what you use to bake the cake, right?
And even if you kind of remember, okay, German chocolate cake, I'm going to need chocolate, I'm going to need coconut. But if you don't know where to put what, when, or,
the sequence.
That's what the blueprint does.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It's really the sequence of things. All the different components. The sequence of putting them together and then, leveraging that tool on a day-to-day basis, really. Right? Like you can have a blueprint and never look at it. It's not going to help you.
That's right. I just wish all of you could taste this chocolate cake. It's amazing.
Oh, it is. It's like the best. It's a triple layer cake. You just have to know it is so rich and
Can't wait for my birthday next year.
Yeah, I'll make you another one. It's quite the event. Doing your blueprint for caring for others and caring for yourself isn't quite as as in depth. I think
it doesn't taste as good.
Oh God, no, it doesn't taste as good. It doesn't taste good, but it is. But the outcome is really awesome. It's joyful and it really makes you feel good, right?
Yeah.
Makes you feel good. So I think, having the blueprint, really understanding the different components, which we guide you through, and putting that all together helps you to be responsible. It helps you to make decisions based on, what does matter most.
Yeah.
As Michelle said, it's pausing what matters most. What do I really want? Well, if you're not operating from that place, the things that matter most to you, the things that you really want, and you're just kind of drifting and floating along, right? Just kind of with whatever, you're not going to get the outcomes that you want. You're not going to stay on track. And the blueprint's all about keeping you on track, helping you be responsible. And all of that just leads to, more happiness, more joy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
absolutely. So your call to action is just to do a pause right now, no matter where you are listening to this podcast, and think about, how are you prioritizing your own self-care right now?
If you're driving, pay attention to the road.
Yes, do that. And what does that look like for you, right? And ask yourself, are you exhausted? Are you cranky? Are you tired? What's showing up? How do you know? Now, for me, I sigh a lot. That's what I do.
And talks to herself.
And, I do that too.
I do the same thing. That is one way we're kind of alike.
But it's an early warning sign when I start to sigh a lot that things are kind of mounting inside, and I just need to, again, kind of take a look and say, what am I doing with my time? Am I prioritizing myself? And how do I create that time and space right now? And it could be a minute. It could be an hour. It could be a day. It's whatever I need right then.
Well, and the thing is about prioritizing, and that's what the true leader does. Sometimes they don't even create more time. They just use their time differently, right? They choose to use it. And other times they'll say, okay, if this is really important to me, then I'm going to get up 30 minutes before everybody else in the house gets up so that I can have a little bit of quiet time, that I can do that morning routine, that I can do whatever it is that's going to fill me up. And they make a choice, right, to do that. And I think it's all about choices. And all along the way, you have to make a choice. And even though you have a blueprint, you got some early warning signs, like Michelle said, right? Like she sighs a lot. Now, what I've noticed recently is when she adds stuff to my calendar, right? If I'm really feeling pressured around time, if I'm not in a good space around it, as things get added to my calendar, I can feel my anxiety creeping, right? Like, well, that's taking my time, right? Like I'm already like, so I can tell, like if I'm working from circumstance, if my mind is around, if somebody's adding stuff to my calendar, like lots of appointments, like, wait, I want to put the brakes on, right? Stop. So that's kind of my early warning sign, right? Is that, whoop, I'm slipping into this time thing, right? And so like, we don't do this perfectly all the time either. That's why we have a blueprint with some early warning signs, right, to help us. But you really do have all the time you need for the things that matter most to you, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, when you think about it, you make time for things that are important to you. And so if you're not making time or identifying time that you can use to prioritize yourself, what are you really saying? Are you saying you don't matter? Are you saying you're not a priority? Pretty much.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty much the answer you're giving yourself. So
are you done?
I can be. What would you like to say?
I was just going to say what else it could look like. It could look different.
Yeah.
You could be, thriving.
Yes.
You could be thriving and taking, prioritization yourself really serious and taking responsibility for it. And, what would you rather be to those that matter most around you too? Your family, your coworkers, you want to be your best or you want to be your worst?
Yeah. And if you're at your worst, right, you're burned out.
Yep.
You don't have any energy for anything. You got health issues. Mm-hmm. Maybe even have alienated the people that matter most to you.
Yeah.
Right.
That has happened
because
too.
that happens too as a result, right? So those thriving, resilient, unstoppable leaders, right? They're prioritizing themselves. They're putting themselves first, and they follow their plan. Mm-hmm. They have a strategy, and they just follow it, right? They know they're not perfect, but they keep moving forward, and they know what they need to do to make time and to use the time that they have for the thing that really matters most, which is their health, their well-being, and their, and so they can show up in the very best way for everybody else that matters in their lives, mm-hmm. right? They dynamically balance caring for themselves and caring for others.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, you can do that in a couple different ways. I mean, we could, can be 10 minutes just to jog or meditate or, just go mm-hmm. for a little walk around your basement.
Which is what I do.
Do some breathing. Do some breathing exercises. Just sit in silence. Just
sit in silence.
Sit in silence. If you're really going all the time, just to sit in complete silence, like just let your mind go, right? Don't even think, just kind of listen to the silence. That can be so rejuvenating. Just 5-10 minutes of that can really lift you up, right? Can be, 30-minute ritual, morning ritual, can be going for a walk, doing some yoga, whatever. And you can even break that up into 10-minute increments, mm-hmm. right? And do 30 minutes overall. Can be just some me time, like occasionally blocking off a Saturday afternoon to go to the spa or, just blocking off a morning, an hour or something for yourself, right? To just do something for you that makes you feel good, right? And builds you up.
Yeah.
Builds you up. Yeah.
Just get in the car and start driving and see where you show up.
Oh, hey, that's an idea too.
It's an adventure.
That's an idea too. I'm taking 2 days.
Yes, I know you are.
I scheduled 2 days of clarity for a clarity retreat all by myself, unplugged. So I can't wait.
Oh, I can't wait either.
Yeah.
So thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
Talking about time.
Yes.
And we really appreciate you taking the time to spend with us. And just, thankful for you being here for another episode of Healthcare's Missing Logic. And we will see you on the next episode.
Yes, we will.
So take care, stay safe, and stay healthy.
Yep. See you next time. Bye.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Healthcare's Missing Logic podcast, now a top-rated podcast for healthcare leaders. Please share this podcast with other healthcare leaders and anyone else you think would benefit. We are certain that if you found value in it, they will too. If you haven't already done so, please hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any episodes. And also, it would mean the world to us if you took a quick moment to leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, or your favorite podcast player. It helps to get the word out about our podcast and incredible guests. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel if you want to watch our podcasts. You can also follow us on our Missing Logic social media channels, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Until next time.